Charles Hodge, 1797 to 1878. One spring morning in 1819, Charles Hodge walked into the home of Archibald Alexander on the campus of Princeton Theological Seminary. Hodge, then 22, was 4 months away from completing the seminary's course of studies. After Dr. Alexander had taken care of other matters, he abruptly asked Hodge, "How would you like to be a professor in the seminary?" Hodge didn't know what to say. The question overwhelmed him with equal measures of surprise and confusion. No such thought had ever crossed his mind. Why me, he thought. I'm not even the best student. My best friend, John Johns, would clearly be a better choice. Seeing that Hodge was left speechless, Alexander continued, "Of course, I have no power to determine such a result. It will depend on the judgment of the General Assembly. Say nothing now, but think upon it. My plan for you at present is simply that you spend the next winter in Philadelphia learning to read Hebrew with some competent instructor." Hodge left the house, turning the offer over and over in his head. He worried that being a professor might take away from his preaching opportunities. "I believe that preaching the gospel is a privilege superior to any other entrusted to men," he thought. But this was a needless worry, for his teachers, Dr. Alexander and Dr. Samuel Miller, preached nearly as much as full-time pastors. Another worry entered his mind. The weight of responsibility I would have for the souls of my students would be tremendous, and I would constantly be influencing students by the quality of my character and Christian walk. Without godliness, the work of a seminary professor is ineffective and uninspiring, but an able professor with real personal piety can do incalculable good. The heart, even more than the head, of an instructor in a Christian seminary qualifies or disqualifies him for this high calling. Yet another matter concerned him. If I were to choose a subject to teach, he thought, it would not be Hebrew. If I am to be successful, I'll have to prepare more diligently and work harder than I ever have, for I am not naturally talented in languages, and I have many things to do other than study Hebrew. Yes, he told himself, the seminary is taking a huge risk in asking me to teach this subject. Hodge resolved to do the language study Dr. Alexander suggested that winter, while waiting for the seminary's decision on the position. He felt that this was the way God would make his will clear, either by opening the door or closing it. As Hodge awaited the decision on his hiring, God was guiding him to take the first step toward becoming one of the ablest and strongest defenders of the Reformed faith in the United States, one whose legacy would impact many generations. Family and background. In 1743, a group of members at First Presbyterian Church in Philadelphia withdrew and formed their own congregation, calling it the Second Presbyterian Church. These worshipers, led by Reverend Gilbert Tennant, had been converted under George Whitfield's revival preaching, but most of the members at First Presbyterian, called Old Lights, did not support the revival or welcome the zeal of its supporters, who were called New Lights. One founding member of Second Presbyterian Church was an immigrant from Ireland named Andrew Hodge, Charles's grandfather. He and his 2 brothers settled in Philadelphia, where he became a successful merchant. One of Andrew's 8 children, Hugh Hodge, served as a surgeon in the Continental Army in the Revolutionary War, and afterward as a doctor in Philadelphia. He died of yellow fever in 1798, leaving behind his wife Mary and their 2 young sons, Hugh Jr., who was 2 years old, and 6-month-old Charles. Mary was diligent and industrious in raising her sons. She provided for their needs and education through income from boarding guests in her home, and she gave them doctrinal and practical instruction through the Westminster Shorter Catechism. Charles and Hugh were close in brotherly affection, and both treasured their mother and felt they owed her everything. A. Hodge later wrote, "To us she devoted her life. For us she prayed, labored, and suffered."